Are you tired of sitting on the sidelines watching opportunities pass you by? You know you have what it takes, but something's missing. It could be doubt, confidence, or fear that you're not representing your best self. Whatever it is, it stops now. It's time to align your passion with your purpose and seize the opportunities that await you. I want to see you get back in the game. So join me and my expert guests as we talk all things image, branding, and a bit of entrepreneurship. So if you're ready to gain insightful tips, tools, and strategies to help you amplify your presence and define your impact for greater success, sit with us as we talk about it. Welcome back to the Image Connection Show, where we go beneath the surface of image, branding, and a bit of entrepreneurship. My name is Jenny Dewberry. I'm your host. I'm an international image consultant, brand strategist, trainer, and speaker. And today we're going to be talking about photography and how photography is connected to branding and image, the role that it plays in that. And I have with me today Jen Sulak, affectionately known as Pink Hair Jen. Jen is a professional photographer and a speaker. She's a mother, a wife. She's been a photographer for over 18 years. She is a lifetime artist and a visual learner. Today, I'm so excited to speak with her because I know that this talk is going to be packed full of information that we need as entrepreneurs and clear up some of the areas that we are confused about when it comes to visual appearance, visual images, and branding. So help me welcome Jen to the show. Welcome, Jen.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well this morning.
We're so glad to have you here. So thanks for joining us. Being in
Glad we are here this morning with each other. It's
We
awesome.
are. We are. It's a good thing. So I guess we'll just get on in here. Clearly, you are a creative. That's why you
Yes.
have the title Pink Hair Jen.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a part of your brand. But I want to know what got you into photography. You know, what that journey looked like for you.
Yeah. So the journey started with creativity coming at a very young age. I remember drawing things and doodling like as early as, we'll call it fifth grade, but actually my kindergarten or first grade teacher wrote on my report card, it said very creative but very messy. And I thought that how that translates to just me and as an adult, it's totally still true.
Hmm.
And I love the messy. I don't always like living in the messy, but there is something about that messy aspect of creativity that is just beautiful. So like my whole childhood and teenagehood, and there's a lot of creative things I was involved in up until I was a young adult. And then I met my husband. And then I all of a sudden like had this world of opportunity open up for me in the digital world of photography. I had
Okay.
been doing, we'll call it photography like in film, but nothing that I ever took a class for. I was just kind of like capturing the world around me.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden I end up in the digital world, and it has just kind of rolled up into one giant bow since then.
Yeah.
So I've tried a little bit of everything, as far as I could say, but now I've landed in the world of wedding photography and some conceptual work. So it makes me the happiest.
Okay.
So that's part of the story of just being like a lifelong artist, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, you're pretty evolved, coming from the artist, creative artist side of this into photography, wedding, branding, and such branding photo shoots and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just talk about this for a bit. What do you think? What is a universal type of image that you believe can serve all platforms when it comes to social media? Because that's one place that I know that people get confused about what image or photo is best for, say, LinkedIn, which is a more professional platform, versus Instagram or any of the other social platforms. What do you think? What makes a truly
Yeah, I think what you're going to want to think about is this whole talk is about your image.
Mhm.
And when you're in a corporate environment, there is a specific look that comes with that. And that includes your photography. The image that you're putting out there has to have more of a corporate polish, right? If you're more of in the digital world, or you are doing things that are in marketing, that are you're your own business owner,
Sure.
you can still have that corporate with a twist where you have this. I think we had this in the questions. It's like headshot versus lifestyle is a headshot represents you as a person only, whereas a lifestyle tends to represent you and your business as a whole. And sometimes those kinds of images show you working and doing your craft, whatever that could be.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in IT, if you're in marketing, if you're a wedding floral designer, you know what I mean? Things like that. People need to see who you are and what you do from an image. But if you're more corporate, you're going to probably stick with a really fine-tuned headshot.
Mm-hmm.
It's very professional and what you would represent in an office environment, right?
Right.
And then you have the lifestyle where you could show a little bit more about yourself and your business. But then you have what we call the world of social media, even beyond that.
Yeah.
And that's where people want to get to know who you are. And I think when you think about the images you're putting out there, think about the things that make you you, and how you can relate to your potential clients, to your potential new friends, even like you're going to make new friends.
Yes.
Business partners. Maybe you want to connect with some people in business or other, organizations.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of want to see who you are in your images. So when I was saying universal images, some of these can go on all platforms, and some of them should maybe only be on some of the platforms, depending on the platform that you're going to.
Yeah.
And what is your mission behind your image too? Like, are you trying to find a job? Are you trying to keep a job? Are you trying to start a business? Are you trying to find new business partners? Yeah. So all of these images kind of work together in that universe of the social media world.
They do. And again, when I speak with women and we're talking about, their images, what photos they should have up, or what even they might have on their website. I think your website is a place where you can be a little bit more creative, even though you may be a corporate person or you serve corporate clients. That's a great place, I think, to have your photos, more personality forward photos there, showing your work, showing who you are, right? So those people can really connect with the person and not just the business. We do get a little caught up in, well, I'm a business person, I'm serving these high level individuals, so I have to have this rigid appearance, in my photos. I don't think that's always true, but as you said, if you're serving corporate, there is a certain standard that we should follow. And
there's a way, I think there's a way to do it where you're still authentically who you are, but you're still showing the professionalism that you want to show people that you want to work with, or that you already work with, your boss, or if you're the CEO, your picture is probably going to look different than everybody who's employed by you. So it's like that consistency inside your company, they kind of have like a unique look. And then if you have a website for your own business, that's the great thing about this. You don't have to do a one-page website anymore. You can have multiple pages that show exactly what you do and how personal you can get with who you are, but also what you do, to serve the world. Whatever you're doing, then be authentic about that and show that in your imagery and video. Like sometimes we're starting to do video now too. So the moving stills is a big thing right now.
Yeah, for sure. And so if someone's listening to you and they just automatically thought, wow, I need to check my headshots or my images on these platforms, what advice could you give them to update, a quick update to their images? Is there anything?
Yeah, this is great because, as much as we want to say hire somebody to audit our brand, sometimes we are the best person to start with. So we need to quick hit it with questions. How old is my headshot that's on my website? Because if you are not updating your web, if you're not updating your images, people can start to tell when they meet you in person.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing you need to do is how old is this image that's on my platform, whatever platform it is. And you need to either need to find a photographer or somebody who knows about the totality of what you're going for. If you need a session, a fully dedicated session, then set yourself up for that. But a quick change could also be, Sometimes if you get some really good lighting in a space and you are well lit, and you can always just snap something with your phone at a correct angle, not a distorted angle.
Yes.
Something that you can set up for yourself, be it on a tripod or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend do this over lockdown. She took amazing headshots of herself. Now she's a photographer,
Okay.
but you can do this yourself briefly if you need to update something fast.
Mm-hmm.
I would say invest into a visual artist if you're looking up to do a whole revamp and a refresh of your brand.
Sure.
Meaning you need new 3 to 5 headshots, different looks, different angles, different things that you want to do. But that's one thing you can do right now, even before the year ends, is take a look at your website. Take a look at your socials. I even had somebody get on to me about my Instagram profile photo. Update your profile photos if you have not. Because even I, like, you would think I'm pretty consistent. Like, yeah, most of the time I am. But sometimes you just set it and forget it, and you forget to put a little love in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the challenge for you before the year ends, is look at all your platforms and start to find a way to make it all uniform, whatever that looks like for you in your business or your job or the career that you have chosen. And make sure that you take that time, because you're going to thank yourself in the end where you start to look like one cohesive brand and they're not confused. Because you don't want to be confused when you go to do business with somebody. You want to understand a little bit more about who they are. And so the consistency and how you present yourself online is just, it's in your favor. It's not, you don't want to just like set it and forget it. You want to actually put some work into it.
That's true. And I want to welcome everyone here that said hello and good morning and such hello.
Good
And I do have a question. How many times should we change our headshots? How often should we change those or update our headshots or our images?
I think, and obviously this is going to be different for everybody. So my answer could not even work for you, but I would like to think that every 6 months you need to take a good hard look at the images that you have. And do they truly represent what you are still doing now? Like, some people say once a year. I'd like to say maybe twice a year. You take a really good look about, how do I feel when I look at my own image? Right. Do I feel like I'm still me? And I've had some images taken of me where I'm like, it's good, but it's like, it's not like as strong. Like you can see if an image, even just a slight tilt of the head, is stronger than the other, right?
Yeah.
So over this last year, even, I think I just told you when we got on here, I set myself up for mini sessions. A mini session, 20 to 30 minutes, where I got a full experiential, got some new headshots, some new, more like lifestyle, things that I can bring to my brand. But it's like, I needed to have it in my stock, because the only thing that really changes about me is obviously I'm getting older, but my glasses change.
Okay.
So if I'm using a glasses image from like last year, it's going to be different than what this year's photos look like. While they are still cute, if you see me in person, I'm going to be wearing these glasses.
They are cute. Yeah.
And I have some really cute headshots. I still use them every once in a while. So don't throw everything away. You know what I mean? Don't throw everything away. Keep it in a folder where you're like, okay, this is who I am. This is who I was. This is who I want to be. So start keeping a folder somewhere where you have a range of headshots you can pull from. Specifically, if you have different things you're going to use them for.
Sure. Yeah.
And like there's just, at least twice a year, take a really good look. Or even if you want to do it quarterly, some people, maybe I'll need to do it quarterly, every 3 months, just kind of take a look at it,
And again, it depends on where you're going, where you're going in that moment. And if you have multiple brands or multiple businesses.
Yeah, and some of us do, and it's very important to have a voice in each brand, which each voice may look slightly different. Like what I would put for, say, this show, my headshot for this show may look different than if I showed up as Pink Hair Jen versus Weirdo Weddings versus Pink White Images. Right. I would probably show up differently for all of them, because if I'm an artist, then I might want to show up. Today I'm talking about art, so I'm going to give you more of an artist headshot, right? If I'm a speaker, maybe I'm doing holding a microphone, kind of an action shot, right? But if I'm showing up as a photographer, sometimes I'm holding my camera, right? So there's so many different headshots and images you can pull from. So my point is have a variety. Have a variety to pull from.
Okay. And so clearly the update your headshots every 2 years have changed. That's outdated, you would say.
Yeah, I mean, I still know people that they're holding on to their headshot because maybe they're very uncomfortable in front of the camera and they certainly don't want to set up a photo shoot to get
Yeah.
another headshot because they're like, I could never duplicate that headshot.
Sure.
I think a handful of people can get away with that. I think people should still be updating.
Yeah.
Even if you feel you look exactly the same, I can see the difference.
Yeah.
I know who's showing up online, and I know who's showing up in person, and I know you don't look like all of you in this photo. It may be a great photo, but is that all of you?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. And so you're saying nowadays it's important to update your photos a little more regularly. So,
Yeah.
and you'll probably cringe from this, but AI.
Oh, yeah. It's
really popular out here. It seems to be the buzz.
It's a discussion in the art world that is a very hard discussion.
Okay.
And for me, I lean towards the authentic creation with my two hands and my eyes. I know anybody can plug in their prompts and they can get their own photos, but at the same time, we all know that's not reality.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Those of us who choose to see it as it's not reality. It's cute. I'm sure you've had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, but you think that the best, well, I'm sure you would, being that this is your profession and expertise, the best way to go is a real life photographer.
Yeah, right? Because, and this is my personal opinion, everybody. Okay, so I believe that the human connection is very important.
Definitely.
And I believe that creativity should be shared between humans. And I don't mind everybody. You all use AI as much as you want, but when it comes to that interaction with, me trying to serve somebody with my gifts and talents, I can't do that if somebody just runs off and does AI.
Yeah.
I can't serve you with my heart and my mind and the things that I want to give you as that human to human connection. You can't get that with AI.
Yeah. Human connection is important.
You can get a cute photo and you can be happy with it.
Yeah.
But what you're missing is the human connection behind the creativity. And I think that's something we just need to remember. I'm just going to ask y'all to just remember that today when you're seeing all this cute stuff come out.
I'm glad you said that. I wanted your opinion on that because some of the photos are really real. They look identical. They call them AI twins. They look identical to the person, And so when we do need a quick photo, it would be for us that needs that quick photo, it would be the direction that many of us would take. Well, if I can go and do this quickly and this person or this image looks identical as me, why wouldn't I? But your explanation of that made a huge difference. That human connection, the experience, because it is quite an experience when you're going through a photo shoot, when you're having a photo shoot done.
Yeah, when we were talking about being uncomfortable, right, in front of the camera, I think that's part of the human experience is that my job is to help you feel comfortable and I want you to feel like yourself, it's kind of like chatting in a chat room. You're not going to get that experience with somebody looking you in the eye saying, I see you and I want to see you and I want to bring your best, self forward. Yeah. AI is not going to do that for you. It may pretend it's a human and it's going to talk to you a certain way once you've trained it. But it's like, I just don't see how you can have an authentic human experience and share the creativity that we have. That's such a gift of creativity to be with each other.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
In the angles, when you get a photo shoot, the photographer is telling you, well, or they'll come up and direct your head, or your stylist is there, me.
Yeah, and I think there's something about the beauty of being uncomfortable. Like we all need that challenge every once in a while. Like I just said, I hired somebody to do a mini session with me. I needed that challenge too, to how do I feel comfortable in front of the camera? and with people looking at, somebody looking at me trying to find out who I am in this photo.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about leaning into that challenge of being uncomfortable instead of just saying, oh, well, I'll just, for 5 seconds, I'll do this photo.
Mm-hmm.
But I think leaning into this is how we grow. This is how we thrive in the experiences of life, is to just be with each other and be uncomfortable sometimes
Yeah.
and, learn something from each other.
Right, right. And being uncomfortable is how we stretch and how we grow and how
Yeah.
we excel, right? So
Most of us have been through something
that.
really challenging and uncomfortable. Tell me
Mm-hmm.
how has not improved your life.
Yeah,
You
it
know what I
has.
mean?
I can say that it has. It doesn't feel good when we're going through whatever that is, whether it's in front of a camera or something else happening in life. But on the
Yeah.
other side, it's such a beautiful thing. When you look back at your photos and such, you love them. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and you didn't gloss over it. You just you faced it head on. And I think there's
Mhm.
something about facing something, facing fear, facing doubt, all this stuff that comes up that's the very human experience.
Yeah,
There's something about walking through it and not avoiding it that is it's part of life, and it's a beautiful thing in life.
it is. It is. And so we're talking about the photo shoot.
Yeah.
Some people, or whether they're not some people, but there's confusion a bit about an everyday photo shoot or a lifestyle photo shoot versus a branded photo shoot, a personal brand photo shoot, so to speak. Can you talk a little bit about the difference in that? Because it may be subtle, but I do know there is a difference. So,
Yeah, so there's a lot of people like we shared earlier, the corporate headshot is a very, you're in a rectangle, and you are usually from, the chest up, and you have your shoulders just so, and you're looking at the camera and you're smiling.
yeah,
That is a very, very basic headshot kind of a feel.
right.
And you can use that anywhere. Okay, so lifestyle and branding, they kind of go together.
Hmm.
So a lifestyle and branding kind of photo session would be encompass many ranges of who you are. Not just I'm in a box, here I am. I would call that more of the out of the box experience, where you're like, okay, say you work at home on your laptop and you're a marketing agency and you do this, this, and this. So
Hmm.
a branding session would have the totality of your colors. If you have branded colors, if you have branded textures,
Hmm.
you talk a lot about fashion. So if people have a specific look, like I have the pink hair, right? That would be
Right.
considered lifestyle and kind of like a very fun thing I can play up on. I'm
Hmm.
wearing a splatter paint dress. So when I think about my brand, I'm representing myself head to toe.
Right.
And in that lifestyle and branding shoot, you would be much more creative in the varieties of images you would have.
Hmm.
You would have images of you working with clients. You would have images of you working on whatever technology you use potentially.
Hmm.
You would also have the different colors and textures, like I said, for your backdrops, your forward, everything in the foreground and the background is going to be a representative of who you are. And a lot of times when photographers get one done, like just saying as an example, when photographers get a lifestyle or a branding shoot, a lot of times we're just running around with our camera.
Hmm.
This is me, I'm a photographer. Here's
Yeah.
my camera. But like I said, if you're in the corporate or if you're in a business world, you're going to have action shots of you doing things or talking with a client. Another good example is like, say, a wedding planner. What would a wedding planner do to showcase their brand? Okay, they want to probably be shown working with somebody. They have lists, they have, pens and pencils, they have their apps that they use. There's a whole bunch of different things that come with that kind of shoot that gives you a range of images that you can throw on your website. Like, here's this page that tells you exactly what I do, and here's an image of me doing it.
Yes. Yes.
And or sometimes, again, short form video, if you're trying to showcase what you're doing in real life, that's when you take the short form video to all your socials and you kind of like you cross post everything. So you have your still images and you have your moving stills.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's the difference between the two, because the headshot literally it's a box that you sit in.
Yeah.
To show exactly what you look like. Here's what I look like for my ID photo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then the lifestyle and branding is the expansion of here's who I am, here's what I do, here's what I love, here's how I serve. And, this can look at any way. You can expand it and contract it however you need it in that moment too. And that's the beautiful thing about for me, photography, is that at any time you can update that. At any time you can update that.
Yeah. And the good part, go ahead, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
You spoke about bringing your colors and your textures, everything that's associated with your brand, and that is also that brand shoot allows you to bring your full personality, into
Yeah.
that session. It's wonderful, even some people that I work with on their branding shoots, the makeup. They don't
Yes.
really understand that you have to wear heavier makeup when you're underneath the lights and the cameras and such. And so once they look at the mirror, it's like, oh, I don't do the makeup, but who is that person? And they don't know whether they should be comfortable with this person or if it's uncomfortable, but they like it, they love it. And then when they see the pictures, it's like, oh my gosh, had I not done this, I wonder what these pictures would have looked like. So there's so much that's involved in an actual human interaction photo shoot.
Yeah,
Brand.
it's very experiential, and I have friends that do this. They have full studio experiences, and it's lovely.
Mhm.
And I've done it myself. I've put myself through it and just let myself be a part of the process, be a
Right.
part of the creative process.
Yeah. Perfect. And I talked about myself there a bit earlier that I am camera shy. What would you say to me if I came into your studio and, I just could not bring myself to just stand in front of that camera and just smile because it feels to me, to someone else, it may feel ingenuine or uncomfortable. How can someone get over that camera shy feeling when they're in a photo shoot or doing a
You
photo?
know, it's so interesting. So I mainly shoot weddings right now, and about 50% of my clients tell me this. They're like, well, we are so awkward. We are so shy. And you know what? I don't even talk about it. I
Mm.
have like, if you tell me that you're awkward, shy, and that
Mhm.
you're not comfortable, then that's great. And most of the times I do like a pre-consult. I think it's great to talk with somebody before you work with them and say, you know what? Because if you have a connection with somebody, you're
Mhm.
going to instantly feel a little bit more comfortable when you're walking into a studio.
Yeah.
And so, what I would suggest for anybody listening or watching, do a consult with whoever you're looking at hiring or
Very
working with, because if you feel comfortable with them in that conversation, you're going to feel comfortable during the day of the shoot too.
Yeah.
I do this all the time at my weddings where, I just literally, I show up, I bring my joy, I bring my smile,
It's important.
and I don't think about the things that hold us back. And
Yeah.
I kind of encourage people to come out of themselves. And I think that's really a gift that I get to experience with other people,
Mhm. Yeah.
is they feel so comfortable that they're okay with being a little bit more awkward than normal. And I'm okay with awkward. So I'm like, I'm not here to like judge you or put you in a box, even though if you want a headshot, I have to put you in a box. You know what I mean?
Little box.
So if there's not like a set 3 things that I do, but I think that having a conversation, I would first have a conversation with you before you even came to my studio.
Mhm.
And the second thing I would do is make sure I have music going. Oh my God, if you've ever been to any kind of event, the music really brings up the
Yeah,
energy.
it does.
Specifically,
Even in your
if you
home.
like certain music and you know
Mhm.
what you want to listen to during your photo shoot, it's like an instant
Yeah.
joy bringer.
I
It's an
agree.
instant relaxer.
Yeah.
So I would suggest having a playlist ready to go just so you can know what makes you comfortable, or what brings the energy up for you. And
Yeah.
knowing that about yourself is already half the battle there.
That's
Like
good.
walking into a space, have the music ready to go. Like, listen, I need my pump up song, pump the
Yeah.
jam, pump it up.
Mhm. So true, though. That's good advice. I would have thought to think of that or mention that, but that is very good advice because, like you said, when we're cleaning, we put on music to pump us up. I do,
Yes.
and I know many other people that do. So it really does change the energy. It changes how we are, you know, um, our view in that moment. So if I, for lack of a better word, but it changes the atmosphere. So it
Yeah.
makes us more comfortable. If we're a more introverted person, it can kind of bring us to life depending on what it is. Now don't bring classic jazz, but we want to have a little energy in the music, but it is good. That's a good idea to
Yeah.
do. And I want to add that if you are, since we're talking about a photo shoot, if you are having a photo shoot or planning a photo shoot. First of all, Jen is located in Dallas, Texas, and you can find her at on her website, Jen Sulak, weirdoweddings.com, and pinkhairjen.com. So those are her websites where you can find her. And you can also find her on LinkedIn under her name, Jen Sulak. And how can they find you on IG or any other social platforms?
Same thing. Weirdo Weddings, Pink Hair Jen, Pink Light Images. I have them all cross posted with each other. Yeah. So you'll see some, like, I like putting out, like I said, I have multiple brands going on. So my wedding brand is going to look one way. My conceptual artwork is going to look another way. And then my speaking brand, I'm, been slowly building this over 2-3 years, and it's been lovely because it's a whole new challenge. Every time you start something new, it's a whole new challenge.
It is.
And it's a visual challenge. Like, what should I be putting out? How many different photos, how many realistic photos versus how many videos, all that stuff, all of
it. Good on your new, good luck rather, or congratulations on your new venture. And again, you can reach Jen on her website. You can find her on social media. She is located in Dallas, and unfortunately, you can't do photo shoots via, I don't think you can, virtually.
Really highly conceptual. And then if anybody really feels like the need, they really like what I have to offer and they want to work with me, I do travel quite a bit. Yeah. So I'm already going to be in Los Angeles in March. And so if anybody happens to be in Los Angeles and you want to connect, that's totally fine. Perfect. I'll be speaking there. And, but yeah, I travel quite a bit. So you never know where you might see me next.
That's the beauty of this world that we live in today. We can go anywhere and work anywhere. So that's the beauty of that. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back to talk with Jen.
You're not just building a career. You're building a reputation and that of your business. At People Power Consultancy, we coach ambitious professionals to refine their image and shape a personal brand that opens doors. Because the way you show up is your message. If you're tired of blending in, second-guessing your presence, or feeling unseen, this is your moment to stand out with purpose and polish. Visit peoplepowerconsultancy.com to start your transformation. Your next level has a look. Let's define it.
Okay, and we are back with Jen Sulak tell me the name of your business, Jen, again.
Pink Light Images, Weirdo Weddings, and Pink Hair Jen.
As you can see, her brand is aligned with her creativity, her work. She is a professional photographer and a visual artist. And so we've been talking about branding, personal branding, images, your image and how they should be presented across certain social media platforms, in life in general, your websites and such. And so when we first left, we were talking about how you can get in touch with her, but we talked about photo shoots versus headshots. We were talking about that and we covered that. And so I wanted to ask you about posing. What poses are appropriate? Because believe it or not, if we're not working with a photographer, it could be a new photographer, that someone that doesn't really focus on the importance of poses and what we're trying to project in that image. How important is it to have certain poses or strike certain poses for certain images or action photos, I guess?
Yeah, so this is going to be it. Well, it's really, I don't honestly complicated answer.
We have a little time, so. And if anyone in the audience has a question for Jen, feel free to put it up.
Please ask me all the questions. So posing, this is so funny because I hardly ever talk about posing. I've been doing it for so long, I just do it, So, but one of the things you're going to think about, which a lot of my clients, if they're getting married or whatever, a lot of them have certain insecurities and they tell me their insecurities. And so sometimes it depends on the things that they want to look a certain way. Like if you've got the triple chin and you're like, I don't want anybody. So like, that's fine. So sometimes I will pose people exactly how they want to be posed, which means sometimes one person in particular, she's like, I want I just want to be straightforward. None of this, none of this, none of this. And I was like, that's totally fine. As long as you feel like that's who you are and that's what it best represents you. And you can look at the image and be like, yes, that's me. The other things, I spend more time posing wedding clients than I do the professional corporate, but it's all the same thing. And I'm posing two people together like all the time and like, okay, like a hug and kiss or whatever. But so when it comes to an individual, a lot of times you're going to see a lot of people with their hands on their hips. You're going to see people having a power stance where you have both hands on your hips like a superhero. And sometimes you're changing your neck. Sometimes you're changing, depending on the angle of the photographer, sometimes you're going to be up, down. You don't always want, and sometimes if your eye is way too far off to the side, you got too much of the wide of your eye in some of your images. So you're going to keep, wherever your photographer tells you to look, if they tell you to look over the shoulder, then you look over the shoulder like you're thinking about something. And sometimes they'll guide you into those poses. And sometimes they'll guide you into a thought process of, okay, now I want you to think about, okay, this. And then you kind of like look off into the distance and think about that thing. But obviously you're not going to have your chin all the way back here. And make it, sometimes your posture has to do with everything. So you're going to listen to your photographer about shoulders down, things like that. And I'm kind of like modeling it for you as we're walking through this, because I'm like, okay, shoulders down. Now you're going to, if you can kind of see me kind of like turning into the camera too, like I'm turning my body. I have my shoulders. This is a typical headshot kind of a thing where you're turning your shoulders and you just kind of look straight to the camera. Or sometimes you have the power stance where you're, straightforward and then you kind of tilt your head. You get sassy. For me, when it comes to posing, I prefer to not have this as my highlight. Like if you can see, like sometimes we have our bad sides and our good sides. This is my less preferred side. But if you have a preferred side and you're like, oh my God, I look cute. This is where my hair is. So I'm always going to like lean into this from this angle. So you can see my hair is just kind of like doing what it wants to do on this side versus me trying to do this where I don't feel like I don't see anything I want to see. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So that's a few things that you can think about, even when you're posing yourself and thinking about how do you want to represent yourself. Sometimes people will tell you, take the photo from way up here. And I was like, there's a point to use that because it does. The angle will always improve the higher up you go. That's why you don't want to take your photo down here.
Right.
You want to take it at eye level or higher, because then
but there is a limit as to how high you should go, correct? You don't want
and you're gonna, if you're doing some of this at home and you're just, I would encourage everybody just kind of play with this too. Play with self-portraiture a little bit, because you might figure out what you like. And then when you meet your photographer, you can show them like, hey, I kind of like how I look in this. And how can we get to that with the posing help from the photographer? And so there's a whole bunch of things that I can't remember because you go to class and you're like, I don't remember all the poses. But for the people that are exceptionally tall, like I sometimes have had to get on a ladder because they're so tall, and I don't want them sitting in a chair for some of them. So I'm like, I get up on a ladder sometimes, so I'm more of at an angle that is, decent. But you don't want to like lean too hard into the stuff that distorts you. Like just be okay with being who you are, no matter what weight you think you are. For your arms, even for me, if you lay your arm completely flat, it's going to look large. Doesn't matter who you are. For dudes, it doesn't matter. They want those big biceps, right?
They do. Even if
most of the time we don't want the big biceps. So I watched my client do this and I was very inspired by her. But she kind of like had her hand, not necessarily on her hip, but she had it just slightly up and tilted out. And she was just almost like she was casually just standing there. I can't show you in this little tiny video, but you just don't want to have them flat. You want to have them up just a touch and out just a touch. That way you're not, squishing your arms down. And that's for us ladies who we don't really want to mess with that. So beyond the posing, though, it really goes back to the fashion. What are you wearing?
I was going to touch on that. Yeah.
So if you're like me, I preferentially like A-line skirts. So it doesn't matter what's going on from the waist below. I can work that. So if I'm using an A-line skirt, then I can do whatever I want with my hips and legs.
Yeah.
but I'm gonna have that cinched in waist, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna have my, I can put the hands on the hips. I'm over here posing for you guys. I can roll my shoulders forward. I could be like fashiony. There's so many different ways that you can go as far as posing.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. That was some good information. Very good
Hopefully,
information.
there's a couple of things y'all can just practice and play. Look in the
Yeah,
mirror and see what looks good for you. Like,
that
you
was
know.
good. That was very helpful information. Very helpful information. And some of the things that people struggle with that we don't really think about, but I've seen it, in my time spent on set with people, doing their photo shoots or questions that I might have when
Yeah.
I'm working with someone, because I do work with people. It helped them get prepared for their photo shoot. So my suggestion or my advice would be to plan for your photo shoot. And as you mentioned, your clothes are the most important part there. Your clothes, your hair, your makeup, knowing your body type, knowing what fabrics work for you and what fabrics are going to look great on camera.
Yes.
Right? What fabrics, what shapes are going to complement you best on camera. The colors, your best colors. You can't just get on camera wearing anything. You're either going to be washed out, gray, looking gray if you don't have on the right colors, or the color could be way too bright. So you want to think about those things too, and always, always bring whatever your brand color is. That color should be on you in that photo shoot. It's a part of
Yeah.
the brand. So when people
Especially if you have a color that is a running thread of your brand. Like I have
Mhm.
a friend who does green. She has a really beautiful way that she weaves green
Yeah,
into her brand. And it's every time I photograph her, the last 2 years I photographed her speaking, and she has this wonderful, unique style. She knows exactly her
right.
body type. She knows how to work her curves. She knows how to work her personality. And we all love her for that, because it's like, when you're showing up confident, it shows in how you dress, it shows in how you present yourself, and even her makeup and even her glasses. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
everything.
awesome. Yeah.
All parts of it, all parts of that visual presence. It helps us to show up, first of all, more confidently. It helps us to look more credible. And then people lean in a little bit more because we're attracted to beautiful things. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking aesthetically beautiful, but just beautiful art. And that's what we are when we get dressed. It's a form of art, right?
Yeah,
So,
and I was gonna speak to those who just think they can show up in black on black on black and think that's gonna hide everything, where that's really it's gonna hide you, but it's not gonna benefit you and your brand if you just show up to hide everything. So
mhm.
if you show up in some things that maybe you haven't tried before, some new cuts of different clothing, maybe a pair of shoes. Like some people, they just want the headshot and they're done. But I had a client request specifically that I include her shoes in every single shot.
Shoes are important to a lot of women.
So, some people, if you value your shoes and that's a part of who you are, then you should include that into your branding shoot.
Absolutely, because your brand, your shoe is a part of your brand. And I might think of someone and say, "Oh, well, so and so, she wears the high heels all the time.
Yep.
She wears these really nice shoes all the time." That's a part of your brand. So, of
Yep.
course, you want to bring those small details into your brand shoot. You want to bring it to stage. Everything from your hair to your glasses should speak Jen. That's Jen. That's her brand. That's who she is. It should speak me. That's Jenny. Short hair. This is what it's gonna be.
I will
Short
have on some
hair.
kind of a combat boot. I am living my 90s dream, so I'm finding
Exactly.
combat boots.
Alignment, alignment, alignment. Whether you're on camera, whether you're being photographed, whether you're on stage, you're being photographed on stage too. You just
Yes.
make
Yes,
sure
you
that you're
are.
bringing your whole self in your best self by working with a professional photographer, working with someone that can help you get prepared for the photo shoot, and also having someone there with you at the photo shoot to ensure that your garments are laying properly, no puckering, fitting you exactly how they should fit, and that the colors are going to be the right colors for you. So all of that, they marry together to make a beautiful, successful.
And I'm gonna add to that. In your experience with the
Mhm.
photography, bring options, because the more options you bring, you're going to figure out also what works for you, and you're going to be able to see visually what you resonate the most with. And
Mhm.
I've had clients come in with 6 different outfit changes, but they were strategically done to a point where she had already pre-styled them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So they were pre-styled, and then sometimes, even though you pre-styled them, there still might be 1 or 2 that they didn't work out the way they were supposed to.
Yeah.
So be okay with that. Not everything's going to work out. Not every shot's going to be perfect, the whole point is the whole process, the creative process.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. It is. It really
It's
is a
lovely.
beautiful experience. It's a fun experience. So thank you, Jen, for all your insight. This has been great. It's been very insightful. Things that, we don't think about on the regular basis, and things that we don't think about when we're considering a photo shoot or the images that we should put on the internet or social media.
Yes, the universe.
I was trying to think of. Yes, the universe, very important. So you want to always, this is my thing, always look like who you say you are. You don't have to always be dressed to the nines. Even when you're doing a photo shoot, go in there with your personality, but just make sure that it is done right and that it represents you in the best light. So again, I was here with Jen Sulak, Pink Hair Jen. She is a professional photographer and visual artist. She spent some time with us talking about branding and images and the importance of each. My name is Jenny Dewberry, and if you want to learn more about me, you can visit my website at peoplepowerconsultancy.com. I'm on LinkedIn as Jenny Dewberry. I am on IG as Jenny D_People Power. And so check me out, visit my website. And if you are watching this on YouTube, or even if you're watching in general, go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate that. I also have a little gift. It is a guide. It's called Why Image Matters and Why You Should Care. You can download this, and kind of helps you through your day, help you get prepared for your day, and give you some insight on what is necessary to show up as your best self. All right. So again, if anyone has any questions, put them up in the comments, and we will answer. Those of you who comment, we appreciate you being with us today. Someone said it's about time for a family pic. Okay.
You know what? That's a whole other celebratory world.
It is. But yes, so think about the things that we've talked about in terms of your branding and just your business and your career, and add those images. Get those professional photo shoots, but also get professional advice before doing the photo shoot. Consultations, work with someone that can make sure that you are, putting your best foot forward in your attire, your makeup, your hair. All of those things work together to give you the best outcome. So thanks for joining us. Make sure that every day is your best day. You're always being photographed. People are always looking with social media. In today's world, you never know who's watching. You never know who's taking pictures. So when you go out into the world, make sure you're going out polished with great presence and impact. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Image Connection Show. We truly appreciate you being here. We hope you'll join us again. And don't keep it to yourself. Invite a friend to tune in too. If you're ready for more insightful tips, tools, and strategies to help you enhance your image, brand, and help you on your entrepreneurial journey, this is where you want to be. Until next time, keep showing up with purpose, presence, and power. I'll see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Take care.